Okay, what is Kaizen? I have no idea if that's pronounced correctly. And what would be a great example of this in practice? Well, Kaizen loosely translates as continuous improvement. Japanese speakers and I believe Chinese speakers could probably A, correct pronunciation, and B, it's a lot more involved than the simple transfer into Western language, because Eastern languages deal with concepts and thoughts and things like that in very, very short terms. But it's the idea of continuously improving. So it breaks into two key sides. One is the philosophy, this concept that we can always be better, that we should seek ways to be better. Okay, this belief in improvements at all times. And then the other part of it is having a plan to do so. So it's a fantastic concept because, yes, it deals with the philosophy, the mindset of improvement, but also the practicalities. Kaizen encompasses how do we get the improvements done? And that's incredibly important because thinking about it's great. You know, we all love sitting around having a chat about how things could be improved. Doing it, that's a bit harder. But Kaizen encompasses this all in one very simple phrase. So it is about that. We hear about continuous improvement or Kaizen throughout the Agile world, through the lean world, and it's a very important part, this belief that we can be better. You may have heard me say, if you've met me, you probably have, it's not about best, it's about better. And that's really the heart of Kaizen. It's recognizing that we can improve and then finding ways to do so. So examples of this. One of my favourite was talking to a manager from Toyota, where I'm led to believe every day they're asking just about everybody, how do you intend to be better? And one of the people that was asked this question simply moved a bin, a bin that rubbish goes in. And said, I think if I move this to here, it will mean that I have to move less to put whatever went in that bin in there, which will speed me up on their workstation. Okay. And they measured it. So he had a hypothesis. I think that by moving this bin here, I'm going to see an increase in, a saving of time and hence an increase in the efficiency of the system. And they measured it and it worked. So they started taking that idea and applying it to other parts of the factory to see if it worked in all these other parts. And the manager said it worked in many, but not all. So where it worked, they kept that improvement, and where it didn't, it didn't. That's okay. And there was an interesting question about why it did. But it's this. Kaizen is not necessarily big improvements. Can be lots and lots of small ones. Your team deciding to make a small change to how it talks about its items. I remember, and we're going back a while, as a developer, we used to have numbers. This is the early days of the electronic systems coming in. Every user story, product backlog item was identified by a number. That number was written on a card and we had it on a wall. And the improvement that we took was because, I'll be honest, we were all baffled what was on the wall. We thought it was great. We've got this reference number. We're all nerds. We can just remember everything. No. Come the daily Scrum, 1, 2, 3, 4 is moving to. What does that mean? Okay? And we recognised that and we fixed it pretty quickly. And the improvement was fairly obvious. We just wrote the title of the ticket on the card as well. We had a whole index card. Why did it only need 4 numbers? And we iterated on what that card looked like. So over time, yes, we had the ID number. It did disappear for a bit, but then we couldn't find stuff, so it reappeared. We had the title. We had, actually, little pictures of the people working on it stuck to it, so that it was clear. Each one of these was an improvement. It was a change to see whether it would make us better, keep us the same, or maybe impair our working. And that's what we're looking for. Many people, when they start with the Agile world, expect big revolutionary changes. And you can get them. You absolutely can. But focus on the small. What is it that you can do? What is the small change that you, individually, personally, or as a team, can make? And gather data. Show that you're improving because of these changes. So only make one change at a time. Give it sufficient time to build evidence that lets you know this works. And then go again and again and again, because each of these improvements gives you a compound interest. Forever, that team has learned that this helps. And at some point it may stop helping, but it helped for a while, and when it comes around, they're going to learn what else helps them. So they've always got that learning. They've always got the potential for that improvement. But also, the teams around you have an opportunity to learn from what you've done. They can try your ideas out. It worked for you, it might work for them. And the organisation as a whole improves. And slowly, we build momentum until those big changes that you were thinking about are no longer relevant because they're gone. They've become lots and lots of small changes by many, many people and teams. And for me, that's really what we're looking for when we're talking about Kaizen, about continuous improvement. Build a habit of change. Build a habit of improvement. Trying things out. You're not going to get them all right, and that's okay. Try it out. The things that work for you, adopt. Share widely. Share openly. Okay. The things that don't work for you, share. Because they might help somebody else. They're likely a good idea that just don't work for you today. And for me, that's Kaizen. Okay? Continuous improvement every day by every person, in every team, in every organisation. That way, we start solving these problems that are proving particularly intractable. If you've got to this point in the video, I hope you've enjoyed it. If so, a like would be appreciated. If you want to hear more from me, more answers to questions that maybe you've got in the Agile world, please subscribe to the channel. And if you've got a question that you really want answered, drop it in the comments. I promise we'll get around to it. Thank you.